bum 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 bum. It's the bum bum children bum bum of the Beast podcast from the layer of the Beast. As always, I'm here, Andrew, here with my big brother Carlos.
Hello.
What's up?
Hello.
What we were just talking about. What's that? We are stupid when we film ourselves, just in general, right?
Well, if you have creative juices flowing,
Oh, okay.
and anybody leaves,
So you're a creative genius. is what
any
you're
kind
saying.
of creative medium left in front of a creative person from an undetermined amount of time, shit's gonna get silly.
Yes,
Because
sure.
getting silly is part of the process, in my opinion, of getting loose enough to allow yourself to then really try it for real. Because
Sure,
it feels weird.
Yeah, there's a
like
level of
when you
comfortability.
start singing, you're like, "Oh my god, I can't sing! What the fuck am I doing? Jesus Christ, shut the fuck up! Like, shut the fuck up!" But that's everybody, right?
Right.
And so it's part of that process to like, well, you start then sing "Mary Had a Little Lamb." Okay, now sing it like Nancy Pelosi. Next thing you know, you can't help but laugh. It doesn't matter how you sing, you're gonna be laughing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, just the idea of Nancy Pelosi singing that.
and that was, by the way, that's 100% improv. 100%.
You didn't write that joke
right
down?
at the top.
You
right
didn't
at the top.
write it down?
No, of
Oh,
course
wow.
not. Of course not.
You're a
I work off the cuff from the
creative
heart.
genius,
Off the cuff and from the heart.
comedic genius,
I would say more like an idiot savant.
a real
More idiot than savant.
Kanye West, if you will.
Oh, fuck yeah. That's so disrespectful.
Did you see he dropped his platform?
No, I honestly check out of any conversation that has anything to do with him, mostly out of fear that
I love talking about
Normally, I take any chance I can so I can rag on him and make fun of him. Right now, I'm on a making fun of Kanye moratorium. It's self-imposed and it's a one-man movement. But
Just like our brother's one-man boycott against Nike?
like that one, yeah. But nonetheless, that's what I'm practicing right now because
Why?
Because I can't make fun of a guy that I think is really fucked up in the head for real. And I also think when he's not fucked up in the head, I 100% disagree with everything about his life and his person. 100%. At a foundational basis on everything I know about him and we're not the same fucking
You want to live in a cool ranch in Wyoming?
I don't want to live anywhere near him.
Did you see, I guess you probably didn't see, but his VP, he announced his VP pick for his birthday party.
Is it his mother-in-law?
No, it is a Bible study and life coach in Cody, Wyoming, the small little town he lives in.
I see. All right. Well, listen. Oh, man. I'm trying to be better.
I know, but we have to
And
keep
now here
talking
we
about
is.
it. We have to keep talking about it because he's
Here's the
going to
bottom
be
line.
in the race, and he should be in the debate.
I like being controversial about many things. Politics
I'm not
is
being
not
controversial,
one
I'm
of
just
them.
being right.
No,
You should be in the
I'm
debate.
about to be controversial. This is a preamble. This is a preamble to me being
Oh,
controversial.
Okay.
Trump's his daddy.
But yeah,
And
that's why he's running.
right now, you got to dance for your daddy, Kanye. That's it. That's what this is.
So you think Trump was like, hey, Kanye, run?
No. Just like a pimp doesn't have to say everything to the hooker is just taught properly to do it. And the pimp can like wink once and she know what that means. This is what I think it is.
I'm uncomfortable with this analogy that you're using.
I think that's his daddy. And it's time to dance for daddy so that he can disrupt the opposing candidate. I don't think that it may be like predetermined by Trump. I don't think he planned it, but I think that Kanye has benefited from the administration, and I think that this is a way that he can help.
Has he though?
Well, yeah, he got business loans. As soon as Trump came into office, he was one of the minority-owned businesses that were miraculously receiving of tons of money in funding.
Was this for during the coronavirus thing, or is this prior?
No. This is prior to that. Okay. Yeah. No. So I mean, again, that's
he's a small business owner. What do you mean?
Yeah. No. Listen, I'm not saying they broke the rules. By the way,
right.
I'm just saying I find his entire life to be disingenuous, and I think that a person that's benefited from being disingenuous, who's married to a family of disingenuous people who have deceived the American public for years and sold them snake oil, convincing him it's something else.
Wait, does that mean he's the perfect politician?
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm not, listen, I don't pass. I no longer think there's an American that cannot win. And I think that the more embarrassing and abhorrent of a human being, the more likely to win. I mean, I think it's on people to just be a little more choosy with who you support. If you're gonna enrich in somebody, have more standards. That's all.
Do you want me to find the Kanye West platform?
Sure.
Okay.
I would love to.
Yes, I can read
Absolutely.
it. Okay, good. I'm glad.
I cannot stand one more minute in this chair without knowing Kanye's platform at this point.
I'm upset that I didn't already have it pulled up. To be honest with you, that's my bad. I should have already had it pulled up.
Well, no, but that's good though. That's good because I didn't want to. I wouldn't. This is. You know what? I would not want to come into this topic preloaded because I don't like the man.
Okay, fair. All right.
You know what I'm saying? And I know myself.
I'll post this picture, but he posted a vision board.
That's hilarious.
He's got.
Is there a phoenix there?
I think it's a Harley Davidson logo. Actually.
Okay.
I know he's super into wearing Harley Davidson stuff apparently, and he's super into the color orange.
Because he's got a little sugar in his tank, probably. I've always suspected.
Stop! We gotta stop using that term. I don't know what it means.
You do know very well what it means.
I don't. Please explain to me and the people what it means.
The people know.
Oh, okay.
I leave it up to the beasts to educate you.
Okay. The picture of Jesus is really something. It's a strong move.
The earth, the psychological profiling that I draw from that is alarming to me.
Yeah, you real Pepe Sylvia. Charlie, it's always sunny in Philadelphia. That's how I feel like what we're doing, deciphering the stuff. We're like,
that's what it looks like. It looks like Charlie drew a dream board.
Are we decoding the Zodiac Killer's messages? Because that's what it feels like. Okay, so main subheading is creating a culture of life. So number 1, restore faith and revive our constitutional commitment to freedom of religion and the free exercise of one's faith, demonstrated by restoring prayer in the classroom, including spiritual foundations. Then there is a quote from the Bible, Psalm 78:4. We will not hide the truth from our children, but will declare to the next generation his praises and wonder. His being capitalized for our Lord.
Of course.
Of course.
I gather that.
So that's the first one. Do you want me to keep going, or do you want to deconstruct these one by one?
No. I mean, you should probably keep going because I could do an hour in each one.
Okay, so then we'll get your holistic overview. Okay, so number 2, restore the sound national economy, reduce household debt and student loan debt. Quote, God has plans to give us hope and a future. Jeremiah 29:11. I don't quite understand what he means by sound national economy. Does he just mean like a good one? That would be my taking of the word and definition. Number 3.
I know, except that this is not a pageant for fucking 9-year-old girls.
But it kind of is, though.
I want
the president
world
kind of
peace.
But hold on, the presidential race kind of is like a beauty pageant. Especially now with Trump. It is kind of like a beauty pageant. Okay, number 3. Provide leadership to restructure our country's education system to serve the most at-risk and vulnerable populations, allowing the widest possible range of educational and vocational paths to job opportunities and career successes, not sex. Quote, direct your children on the right path. Proverbs 22:6.
How many of these are there? Just out of curiosity.
There are 10.
Oh, okay. So because there's 10 commandments.
Oh shit! Oh shit, dog! That's 100% what it is. Oh, you just blew my mind. Oh,
it's the crystal brain, baby.
Quote platform number 4, I guess. Maintain a strong national defense, fully prepared, but not so quick to tie up our country's young men and women in foreign quagmires that do not advance our national interests and which last for decades. Quote, through God, we shall do valiantly. Psalms 60:12. Number 5, reform the legal system to provide true justice, equitable for all citizens, regardless of race or the ability to defend oneself in court. Recognize the disparity in verdicts and prison sentences caused by the lack of financial resources or legal assistance. Quote, there will not be differing weights and differing measures. Proverbs 20:10. Ooh, a little bit of weights.
I see.
That's a good quote. Number 6. Reform the approach to policing in a manner that treats all Americans the same, regardless of race, color, and ethnicity. Refocus police forces on real crime. Eliminate federal sentencing guidelines that tie the hands of judges, resulting in ridiculous sentences for the most minor offenses. Quote, we will speak for those who cannot speak for themselves. Proverbs 31:8. Number 7. Take care of the environment, diligently pursuing clean air and water as a national security priority and making renewables top priority. The past is forgone and nothing can be new. 2 Corinthians 5:17. Number 8. God, 3 more. This is wordy. Ensure that we always place Americans' best interests first and foremost in dealing with foreign affairs. We must project strength, not aggression. We want trust, but we must also verify. We want fair trade, not one-sided deals that hurt American workers. Quote, blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the sons of God. Matthew 5:9. Number 9, support faith-based groups to provide vital local services. I'm just going to try that one again.
Yes, Mike Tyson. I know you're going to fight Roy Jones.
I hate you. Number 9, support faith-based groups to provide local vital services, giving communities a shared purpose in government. Quote, we will provide ways to motivate one another to acts of love and good works. Quote, Hebrews 10:24, and the last one. Creativity in the arts can be an important source of innovation and development of other national strengths and resources. Quote, he has given them skills and all kinds of work done. Exodus 35:35.
That's just a fucking sentence.
I mean, these are all just sentences, yeah.
Well, look, man. I mean, I think that, my idea, since we're going super authoritarian in this society, is use this as bait.
How so?
Everybody that votes for Kanye, you round them up as they coming out. You round them right up. Oh, now you know. Now we know.
This is very dangerous.
Now we know you're one of the dumb ones, the dumbest. You're like the Marines of stupid people, the proudest of the proud, and you round them up, and you drop them off at Kanye West's ranch, and you say, now that your problem. Hey, you know what? There we go.
A little commune, yeah.
You know what, Kanye? I believe in you so much. You're going to experiment with your group of people, your finest people, right? These are your people, Kanye. So now you make them into what you think you can do with the rest of society. We'll see you in 3. We'll see you in 3. You're rich.
Why do you have this limit for Kanye, but this is not a limit we extend to any other presidential candidate?
Because it doesn't cost anybody money or effort but him.
Yeah, but he doesn't have to do that.
I know, but that's just what I want.
Okay, well,
this is not what I want.
I want a lot of things in this world that aren't going to happen.
I just want those people rounded up.
You want those people rounded up? Is that what you said? Those people?
Those that are willing to vote for him based on that platform. Yes.
What did you disagree with in that platform?
I disagree with that being the platform of a grown-up.
What do you mean?
I mean, that's just ridiculous. Where did you even start? Here's what I say. It's crazy that he's married to Kim Kardashian and he's the one that's more embarrassing. That's insane to me. That's crazy. And I do think that by design, this is to fuck with the Democratic Party.
Oh, absolutely. Well, and I mean, we have Joe Biden making a whole bunch of gas specifically at the black community, right? Telling Charlemagne the God that if you vote for Trump, you ain't black. That's a horrible thing to say.
The fact that he said ain't.
Yeah, there's a lot of layers. There's a lot of layers. There's a lot of layers.
That is so deliberate. Also, though, it flies in the face of his Sleepy Joe.
What do you mean?
Well, because he can't be sleepy if you went as far as to fucking say ain't when he made that statement. That's clever. That shows good cognizant memory. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like all the things they're accusing him of, but that he remembered perfectly, even if it wasn't his idea. And somebody prepped him, which they probably did.
Who would prep him to say, if you vote for Trump, you ain't black? That's
a black person that's employed by him to win the election?
I guess.
Hold on. Whoever's idea it was, how much fucking audience-ship did that gain?
I guess a decent amount, right?
So how can you say that it wasn't a good idea? What's the goal of any campaign?
To get people to vote for you.
Any attention? Yeah, but attention.
No. The attention. The goal of any campaign is to get people to vote for you.
Okay,
that's the goal.
But I mean, you're trying to get attention.
Sure, but that's not good attention. If you're trying to get
the
black community to vote for you, I would argue it was, because I feel like
you don't know how many people are going to vote for him based on he's saying that. A lot of people just vote based on sound bites. They don't go and read. They don't look any further.
Well, no, and I feel like, right, it's telling that this isn't something that is blown up in the national conversation. I feel like there's twice. The other day he talked about how the black community is not nearly as diverse as the Latino community.
Yeah, I saw that.
Bro, these are not
No. It's just You know what it is?
Let me
There's an outrage competition.
Yes.
And it's happening so rapidly. We don't have enough time to marinate on one outrageous thing. Because there's like 9 other ones that get said like back to back.
So, right, and like it's very clear that, maybe not very clear, but it appears to be that Trump is also going through some sort of cognitive decline, right? Bragging about how he's able to pass cognitive tests that are very difficult when they're just not.
Okay, look, hang on. I have to agree with you. I've also noticed what I think is cognitive decline, which is
natural. He's old.
No, not only that, but you're presiding over the most crazy fucking time. Right. I think in the history, because at least 9/11 had somewhat of an explanation between the discord among certain cultures for many years, and the you know what I mean? Like there's some kind of a traceable thing where with the virus in particular, which is the biggest thing, it's a worldwide thing, and you could politicize it, and I'm sure every country politicizes it in its own way. Yeah. But it's a lot for any human being.
Sure.
You know, so I have noticed that. Now that being said, some of the things he does and says, I think he would do at 30 years old.
110%. Yeah, no, absolutely. Some of the stuff is absolutely deliberate. So, right, we have Trump that appears to have signs of cognitive decline. We also have Biden, who appears to also be showing signs of cognitive decline, right? If you compare videos of him from 5 years ago talking as vice president to now, it's just not the same. I'm sorry, it's just not. You can disagree with me. I'm going to disagree with you. So, is cognitive decline better or worse than bipolarism? Sorry, I'm bringing it back to Kanye. Like, right?
Well, no, of course, cognitive decline is better because it's natural. I mean, that's a natural sign of like aging and shit, you know? And there's very many people that are very professionally successful in those age ranges and further. Now, that doesn't mean that their workload doesn't have to be managed and delegated and assisted upon.
Which is true for
so that's why to me that particular point between two people I have no intention of voting for is a wash.
Sure, fair.
I see it as a wash.
I mean, they're both. I mean, they're just old dudes. They're 2 old dudes. That's gonna be happening. Yeah. It's just, I find it interesting, right? We make this, not me and you, but like we as like the world or America of bragging on Kanye for having this bipolarism and wanting to run for president, where we have 2 presidents who are not, or 2 people who are also going to be running for president who aren't in perfect mental shapes themselves, and that isn't, I feel like, nearly brought up the way it is with Kanye and his bipolarism. And sure, maybe there is a scaling thing, right? And like that's kind of what you said, basically, that it's a scaling thing of what's more important or like what's more disqualifying, I guess.
Well, I mean, this may be an outrageous thing to say, but I'm saying it anyway because in the history of civilization, it's just a fact and it's prevalent. You can't have a better candidate in somebody that doesn't come from a higher income and an educated background from the self and from his family. In the history of humanity, the people that are in charge are from good families that have a long-standing history in education and culture. Kanye is not that. So to me, that there's a general knowledge base of world culture that comes from just being averagely educated, if you will, not just highly educated. Averagely educated, but you come from a long-standing history of people that have a wide worldwide perspective because of income and because of education and priority in education, which no matter what, any family that instills education as the bedrock of their foundation is instilling diversity, whether they want to or not. It's inherent.
In ways, I would agree with that.
You know, so as much as I may not like the Bidens or the Trumps, I'll take them over the Wests anytime. Now, if you were to tell me, check me out, listen to me. Now, if you were to tell me Russell Simmons' daughters are running for office, now I'm listening. Because they're intelligent people. They were highly educated. Like there's a lot of people now that are like the newer money people, right? That are having kids, and those kids are being successful and they're educated and they're taking over. Like I'm into that, but that doesn't excuse the fact that this is not an educated dude. His perspective is only. I'm glad that his perspective worked wonders for the marketing of his products. Clearly, he was right on the spot. You know what I mean? But we're no longer speaking about marketing a product.
It seems his perspective has radically shifted in the last couple of years, though, with his whole revivalist of being a born again.
I don't see it that way so much. I don't see a different person.
Sure, maybe not, but like, right, like, I mean, like the music he's making, the stuff he's talking about, like, right, that seems to be a giant shift.
But that's the thing, is that you start out with I forget if it was commandment number 1 or commandment number 2 from the West Bible
Platform.
over there. But
the ye commandments.
You cannot say that you want to instill religion in a country that has freedom of religion without being inclusive of multiple religions and including quotes from only one fucking religion in your goddamn doctrine. Dumbass. like it makes my mind blow up, dude. Like, if this is this is the foundation of your crumbling ass house, the wolf is gonna come in. He won't even have to blow. He could just wag its tail at your fucking brick house and it's gonna come tumbling down, you dumb fuck. God, okay, see, I don't like Kanye.
So mad.
This is what happens.
mad.
This is what happens. This is what happens. The anger in my heart for I just don't like him. But that's what I mean. Like, this is it's not for me, clearly.
He should be in the debates. Time out. Let me give you my reasoning for why he should be in the debates. Right? He's getting on ballots. People are trying to make the argument that he's not getting on ballots, but he is. He's getting on ballots to the point where Democrats are starting to sue him so that he won't appear on ballots.
Is he running as a Democrat?
No, he's running as an independent party. So you just have to meet a certain threshold and get a certain amount of signatures to get put on the ballot in each state, is my understanding of the process.
And so the thought process, if I understand it correctly, of an independent running is that the dethronable base is too strong, and therefore the independent's only dividing the base.
I did not understand what you just said.
So how come every time I hear of an independent, they're talking about them affecting the Democrats?
Because I feel like there's a lot.
Because they did the same with Ralph Nader.
Right.
How come it doesn't affect both fucking parties? Are you that goddamn sure? Because I hear from a lot of Trump people personally that I've met that say, I can't believe I voted for him.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, and I'm not out there taking polls. And I don't have fucking statistics and percentages.
I think that's a common theme. At least my perception, that's a common theme with a lot of.
How come it's automatic always that they go right to? It's going to take voters away from Hillary,
specifically for the Joe Biden one, right? It is someone that doesn't appear to be doing all that well with the black community, right? We've given 2 examples of Joe Biden not being good. And Kanye West is black. And I'm not saying the only reason why someone would vote for Kanye West is because he's black, but he's a representative of the black community, 110%. Unquestionably, he's black.
Wow. Well,
and right, as a group, the black community tends to vote more Democrat than Republican.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, or at least as we've been led to believe by the media thus far.
Well, I mean, just historically. Yeah.
Well, I can no longer. You know what's fucked up is that I can no longer make a statement like that unless I counted the statistic myself.
Sure. Totally. No, for sure. And
up to that point where I'm like, listen, you know who I trust for a fact? My son's oncologist and my eyeballs.
I don't know what I was going to say.
That speaks to the...
Nope. I know we were talking about Kanye. I know we were talking about... We got interrupted by Lil Beasts. Okay, I'm going to change subjects because I keep looking at it and I have to address it.
Okay.
This on my lip, it is not some sort of...
I know,
It's not some sort of disease. It is a pimple with some dried lips and cracking.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when your mouth gets dry and it cracks, that's what happened. And I keep picking at it. This is not some sort of disease.
So what you're saying is that currently your boyfriend has to come in from due east.
I have a girlfriend. Thank you very much. I have a girlfriend. Thank you very much.
From due east. Stay away from the west. Come in from the east.
Kanye West. Stay away from Kanye West. We brought it back. Way back.
And stay away from the west. Please.
No, vote for Kanye.
Jesus.
The debates and how I want Kanye to be in the debates. That was kind of the point I was getting, right? And like, right, Joe Biden does not want to debate Donald Trump. Joe Biden does not want to debate Donald Trump. And you have different articles coming out from the New York Times, Washington Post, different columnists talking about how maybe the debate should be thrown away.
I think it should be because I don't think Donald wants to debate him either. I mean...
No, I think Donald Trump absolutely wants to be on a stage with Joe Biden. I unquestionably think that...
Here's the thing is that how does somebody? He's never been in a position where he's forced to confront shortcomings.
Whom? Donald Trump?
Right. Because in business, he always manipulated the narrative.
Sure.
I'm the greatest. I'm the best. I'm on to the next thing. You don't remember the stakes because we're here to talk about the shiny building.
Yeah.
This shiny building is the shiniest. He has the best crystal.
It's the biggest building.
It's not crystal, it's glass, but it may as well be crystal. Right. Like Baccarat. Baccarat crystal is the finest crystal. And then he goes on, right? Yeah. And he's just like a fucking salesman.
Yeah.
This time, how are you going to stand there and avoid questions about shortcomings that are proven?
I mean,
they may be contextualized and they may be interpreted and manipulated for the context of that question, but nonetheless, he's not good at that. Right now, he's walking out on questions he doesn't like. You don't just.
Did you see his interview with HBO?
You no longer take. No, I haven't.
Gotcha. Okay.
You no longer just get to say your little sound bites and have people clap behind it because you can't fucking back up 90% of the shit you say, which is par for the course. I mean.
I just don't see how that's any different than the Hillary Clinton debates.
We didn't have a performance review of him as a job. We have him telling us how great he'd be at the job. Anyway, that's the only difference that I see.
Right. So he did. Trump did this interview with HBO. I think Axos, AXIOS. I think so. I don't know.
Oh yeah, but that's an Australian company. That's not HBO. But yeah, I did see
it aired on HBO, I believe. Though.
Oh, okay. I thought it was an Australian company, and then somehow it made it here. But because the guy was Australian.
Why would an Australian company be interviewing Trump though?
I don't know.
Like this is like.
I mean, they. I'm sure he does other news outlets. You know.
I mean, as far as I know, the last couple of interviews he's done has been like with Barstool, which is hilarious, and then this guy. Yeah. And like, right, I mean, so you did watch it, right?
I did.
So right, this guy kind of tried to push back against what Donald Trump was saying. And I mean, I feel like it's just going to be what right in the debate, that's just going to what Donald Trump does. He's just going to push past it, bluster his way through it for the 90 seconds. At the end, it's going to be Joe Biden.
Yeah, but
and then he's going to turn into the attack on Joe Biden.
But this interview was only so long, right? And that's after editing and it's in a more controlled environment. Sure. He's doing them a favor, blah, blah. Once you get to the debates and it's that, but 6 times in a row,
no, it's only going to be 3 times.
No, I'm just saying. No. But the amount of time that he have in a debate is enough to go through 6 of those points, rather than a small window as that reporter had. So you can keep it together for a round, but can you keep it together for 15 rounds though?
I think so. I think he just
maybe. I'm interested because I don't think in his entire life he's ever had to sit through somebody spouting back shit that he knows is true. Because let's say out of those questions, right, that are about his shortcomings as a performer, right. His shitty performance, right? Let's say that only 50% of those are true. How many times has a guy like him sat in front of somebody while they're telling him some shit he knows is true and he has to sit there and take it? That's what I like. That's the answer I think to that is never. Because I know people like that. And they don't sit like that. They don't have friends like that. Yeah, they don't have associates like that. Nobody sits them down and goes, and then you did this, and then remember you did this. Like,
again, I just think he's going to turn it. He's just going to go on the attack. He'll just turn it as an attack.
No, I mean that's easy because that's the only thing he knows how to do.
Yeah.
You know,
and that's what got him to the dance. That's what
my only curiosity though is that he's never faced this. I want to see how he does it. That's all.
Well, apparently, if Joe Biden has his way, we won't get to see that.
Well, and Joe Biden has a lot of resources that hate Trump. So that's a lot of manpower.
Sure.
Helping you, you know? That's the other thing. Is like if all he has to do is weaken and Bernie it and fucking remember some shit, he may surprise people. So I'm saying,
no, for sure.
I'm not saying the thoughts will be coming from his mind, but that don't mean he can't still put on his show. You know what I mean? So who knows, man? Who knows?
Did you see Joe Biden's Corvette commercial, web video?
No, man. No.
It's like a 1.5-minute video of him like in front of like an old car being like a grandpa and like talking to you about the car.
Oh, I thought it was of the new Corvette because I was going to say.
No, it's an old one.
I saw a new one the other day. They're pretty fucking badass, man.
You're talking to the wrong person. I don't care about cars.
I know. Well, I mean, I don't really either very much. Yeah. I mean, for me to get into cars, I'd have to have so much money to where buying a car is like buying a beer.
Okay.
So I shun car talk because I'm like, well, yeah. When I have spares, like, you know how much shit I have to have crossed off already in my life. You know, like my family's taking care. Everybody I love is taking 100% care of. Now I'm gonna waste some money on some dumb shit. You know.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. I don't know. This is the most overwhelming time I can ever remember, like even reading about, because I think, and I was talking to my wife about this earlier, I think that a big part of what got us into this mess that we're in is the baby boomer generation. I know that it's become a funny thing to call somebody a boomer. And I find it hilarious. I just think that it's misuse in terms of what it really means, and its misunderstanding is as ignorant as the baby boomers themselves. And so to me, it's like almost like you can't call Chuck Liddell a pussy. That means you don't understand what being a pussy is. Like, you're dumb. Like, that's not funny. Being ironic. No, you're stupid.
But right, like, meanings of the word change, and like, right, the meaning of the word boomer now isn't necessarily a baby boomer. It is an old person with outdated way of thinking.
Yeah, no, I realize that, but as I have it as a first generation immigrant that came to this country, I find that I don't find solace or justification in the change of a word because people changed it, not because they understood it and it adapted to a new meaning, but because it's like irregardless.
That's just the way languages work, though.
No, I get it. But the way that I personally work is I look down on it. That's all. Like, but anyway, I do think that, to me, what's going on now, which is I find highly ironic, is that the boomer generation fucked everything up because they had it nice. After the World War II, they had like 50 years where America was pretty great. Pretty great.
Are you saying we should make it great again? Make America great again? Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is that as soon as we had like a recession in the early, 9/11, and then the goddamn recession in 2008, right? Those were like almost the first hardships that boomers ever had to go through because they didn't go to the war. They didn't get drafted.
Vietnam?
Yeah, but Vietnam was very light on the boomer side. If you think about how old you had to be, if you were born, the boomers were born after World War II. That's the baby boom, right? Yeah. So
50s.
So right, the war ended at 45?
45.
Okay, so let's say that you were born from 47 to 1960.
Right. Yeah.
In order to have been possibly drafted for Vietnam.
Yeah.
Right? And then the draft only lasted like 7 years. People after the draft, I think the draft was outlawed in like 78, I think. Or I don't know what the term is.
I don't know my history on war drafts.
Right. and the other part about it is that the boomers that were the nice kids, right? College kids didn't go to war.
So it was from 44 to 50.
50. See? Yeah. So you were no longer getting.
I'm sorry, excuse me. Those were the years you were born in to be eligible for the draft. From 1944 to 1950, and then the draft started.
So 78, like I said.
The draft started in December of 69, and the last call for the draft was of 72.
Oh, okay. So there you go.
So, I mean, about what, 3 years? Mm-hmm. Can I math?
Yeah. And at the time when the draft happened, as we've learned by many of our esteemed politicians, there were all kinds of ways to get away with not going into the draft, right? Because all you had to do, again, come from an okay family with means and access to what? Information. Poor people did not have access to information and libraries and books and knowledge about what book to buy or what information to seek or who to seek it from. That was an educated person with means. So a lot of people that had privilege. So a lot of people from like median households to obviously rich people didn't go to the draft. They didn't get drafted. They were in college. They had a way to, dodge it.
Have a foot injury like Mr. Senior President Trump.
Of course. All of them, So really, they didn't really have many crises until 9/11.
Sure.
Yeah. And in a way, all of this shit that ended up happening is because of all of those super idealistic periods of time that they got to have. The goddamn hippies. To me, the goddamn hippies, like the wokes are the new hippies. Like it's the same bullshit. Like it cannot be all idyllic and idealism based. You got to go out there and get your hands dirty. And shift your perspective and make sure that the world doesn't harden your heart. Because at your heart, you're good. But you're lacking the exposure to real-time applications. Like I was saying last week, if I want someone who's anti-police and pro-police defunding to be the person that says, how do we treat a guy that we're chasing who's a rapist and is running through the neighborhood? You tell me how much force I can use on him. That's the conversation that we need.
And when we had that conversation, I told there is a platform of 8 different policies to kind of detailing that out, though. So like that is that.
Yeah, but it's not a conversation. It's a platform that they issued on their own. It needs to be a dialogue. You don't get to just seclude yourself and come up with your own fucking scriptures. No, it has to be messy. That's the whole
But that's
thing.
step one of that process, though, is coming up with your platform and then going to have that conversation. And right, the people who are in control are having that conversation. But the people who are in control of those conversations aren't having those conversations with those people who are having these ideas, right? The police unions, the cities, the mayors, city managers.
Well, yeah. But there's also a lot of conversations that they're not having in general.
Sure.
You know,
Right, but the only way to have those conversations is to make noise about it. It's to shine light, to talk about it, put pressure on them.
You got to put pressure on it. But if you're going to put pressure on them, you have to not lose sight of the fact that there's a lot of habitual line steppers out there that are just criminals. And they just break the law habitually. And when they break the law habitually, they're trying to rely on the victimization of the system. And they will play any card in the book to get away from that too.
Yeah, but I mean, that's always going to happen, though. That's always going to happen.
Right, but you can't act like that's not part of what a cop or a law enforcement officer is dealing with in their psyche when they have to make a snap-second decision in a situation. And the person on the radio says this person's been to jail 3 times for felony whatever, or for possession of a gun, or for, like all of that has to factor in a very small amount of time to a person that has to deal with that. What's appropriate?
Or they have a warrant for the wrong house, break in and shoot someone sleeping in bed.
Yes. No, but here's the thing is that it's not, that's the problem. It's not about tit for tat. You're right. That needs to be dealt with, but that doesn't negate what I just asked you. So that's not, it's not a way to avoid that and say, well, yeah, but this happened. Yes, that happened. And in that case, those cops should probably be dealt with to the full extent of the law.
Which is not happening.
Right? Well, I know, but that's definitely an avenue that needs to be taken care of. But that's not a good tactic to deviate from a hard question that is valid for those people to answer too. How do we deal with this piece of shit type of situation? Right. So let's have that conversation, and then let's have the conversation about why the fuck is systematically every time that it's clear as day that the cops overstep, they get away with it. Right? That needs to be its own lane. Because it's a horrible lane, and it seems to happen all the time. I think that it's preposterous that internal affairs is composed of their own department.
Oh, yes. Yes.
To me, it's almost like medicine. Like it's
the way civilian review boards, the few that are around the country, because I want to say like Portland, Seattle have these types of policies enacted. They don't seem to have a whole lot of power either. I mean, they're more of like all right, we'll do the thing. Here you go.
Yeah, it's a PR. It's
symbolism.
A PR
Symbolism.
Yeah. But I just don't think that we make a lot of headway with the hardlining of either way, and a lot of it is it's participatory. Like there's a lot of people that are still choosing to be hostile with the police and choosing to have more interactions with the cops than they need to have, because there's a whole lot of people that that never interact with cops. And it doesn't mean that they don't care about people that get abused, but how come they're not having those interactions?
Places where they live,
communities
where they live,
maybe
areas where they frequent.
But that's. I mean, there's a lot of the factors into that stuff, but I just don't think that they're being accountable enough either. That's all. I mean, I like I said, in this town at least. I see our cops as equal opportunity abusers. It's a compliment. In today's society, that's a compliment. I think they dish it out even. I do. I know that there's places where it's not that way. My only point is that in 90% of the cases that are presented in front of me, right? In 90% of those cases, I'm talking about people that were already, if I'm a cop, I put myself in the police officer's shoes, right? And I have my family here and my son that has leukemia, and I want to come home, right? My job's to enforce the law, first of all. Right. I signed up for that. I was aware that was the job, and I agreed to that job, right? So if I have to pull somebody over and they tell me that the tag comes back to a person that's been an armed felon arrested for violent crimes before, and maybe did 2 years already for a federal crime, right? Now, from behind, the guy could be driving, could be the gentleman that the car's registered to. I'm already going to be at a different mindset, like I am. And in the videos that I watch, they never comply. They never comply. Put your hands up. Put them down to the side.
I mean,
if the guy has a gun and I'm already, me personally, I'm already in that situation. It's not time to be like, man, what the?
I mean, there's plenty of videos where they're giving conflicting instructions.
Sure. But I'm just saying, like, when I looked up like at a bunch of the cases that have happened recently and all that, like, for instance, and this is the George Floyd one, the new video that came out, right?
Yeah.
Horrifying.
I didn't watch it. I don't want to watch it.
Horrifying. But at the same time, the reason that he kept saying, I'm claustrophobic. I'm sorry. That doesn't matter. Get in the back of the car. You're claustrophobic? How come you've been arrested before? Repeatedly.
Probably why he's claustrophobic.
Can't be that claustrophobic if you got arrested a second time.
I mean, that's probably why
a third time.
If he was being arrested, that's probably why he's claustrophobic. So I'm pronouncing that word wrong. I know.
like there's a lot of that I just don't understand that part, because it's like the same if you're getting robbed. If I'm getting robbed, right? I don't go, I know fucking karate, man. No, you have a gun. You want my shit. Here you go. You can take all my shit.
Right, yeah.
I'm a bag. Listen, I folded up the pants. Look at it. So I mean, and I'm not trying to make light of it. I'm just saying there is a part of compliance to that, and it's a part that starts at home. At home. You know, there's not a lot of good reasons to resent authority other than being raised in a manner that makes you resent authority.
I mean, there's plenty of examples of authority being horrible.
I'm not saying there isn't.
Right.
I'm not saying there isn't. But
so
I don't have that, but there aren't many examples of people that have no resent for authority that have those interactions. It's like what to me, it's like the whole thing about gun accidents, right? Like, as soon as you carry a gun like George Zimmerman, you're asking for trouble. You're a pussy. You failed at trying to be a cop. But you got to walk around with your gun because it's the only way you got any balls. Of course something bad was going to happen. I'm not saying it could have been him shooting himself in the leg, taking like the gun out of the holster or something. I'm not saying specifically thing, but you invite that into your life. Oh, come on, man. This guy's reformed. I know he used to be a rapist, but he's good now. Well, yeah, but aren't there other people you could be friends with? You need to have him at the birthday party. Like, some of that to me applies to where it's like, sure, someone should give him another chance. Does it have to be you, though?
So are you calling a gun a rapist here in this moment?
I'm just saying you invite certain things into your life. If you're working at a prison or if you're a parole officer, you can't start getting friendly with them and throwing barbecues at your house with ex-convicts. I'm not saying that you're inviting them to murder you. It's just not a good idea.
I lost my train of thought again.
No, about the cops and
no, I was going to make a specific point and it's gone.
But, you know, it's we'll see what happens, I guess. It's all. I don't think anybody has any plans for police reform anytime soon. I did see that Sisolak signed some kind of bill that included
the most recent special
banning chokeholds.
The most recent special legislation had certain police,
which is it's a step in the right direction. I do still think that defunding's a bad idea, but why shouldn't they be accountable to the public about what the funding is going towards?
I agree with that.
You know, because what if the funding is going towards psychological profiling? And how about you have to do 2 hours of therapy every fucking month, no matter what? No, but I'm just saying accountability. It's the same thing that I've always said with private schools. I would be all for a private school if they gave me an annual report and I got to see what they spent the money on. But they don't, and all year fucking long, they're hitting you up for more money. And meanwhile, the high school I went to collected money for a high school that none of us ever saw for 22 fucking years to then build the other high school. And then as soon as they built that high school, they started hitting up those students to build a goddamn chapel. No, they built a football field. Are you kidding me? No, that was built. Obviously, somebody probably boosted it up. I don't think they paid for it, you know. But the whole point is that as soon as it opened, they were already collecting money for the church because they didn't build the church. So it took them 30 goddamn years to build a new one. Can't even get a church going.
Well,
Shouldn't the church, by the way,
Well, they have to pay so much in taxes.
if you're so religious, shouldn't the church have been the first one to get built? I'm no expert here, but what would Jesus want? Football first or church first?
Listen, if you ask Texans, Jesus does love football.
Well, what the Texans would have done is they would have built a dome over the field and used it for the Lord as well. Talk about a multi-purpose.
Did you see that there was a convention here in town that turned into a giant church service?
No.
It was like, I don't remember what hotel it was, but there was some sort of like evangelist convention or something that they basically threw in a casino to get around the church gathering bands, which I think is pretty clever. I think that is a pretty clever move because
I like that move.
It's a great move.
Applied to any topic. If you're sidestepping the system in a clever manner, I salute you.
It's a good move.
I don't know why. I've always had that party movement like, oh, this is the rules. Like even back in the day when golf courses were more like strict about wardrobe, I'd be like, okay, no problem. Spike belt. You know what I'm saying?
That is an interesting like shift of culture, the golf course and the requirements to be even allowed to be on a golf course.
Okay, I'm gonna blow your mind because so Beasts, we grew up golfing and bowling. So every once in a while, you thought the badminton was nerd last week. Oh no, you ain't seen nothing yet.
You're so stupid. You're so stupid. Okay, continue.
So golf course. I went golfing a couple of weeks ago, right, with Ricky and with Ricky's our other brother, and with Nick, a buddy of ours. Golf course, the new golf carts, speakers, Bluetooth, music allowed.
That's incredible.
I need you.
What?
Listen, you are no longer ostracized if you're playing music. In fact, it's celebrated. It's expected. You pull up to each fucking golf cart. I pulled up to it. I saw the thingy. Boop, boop, boop. Bluetooth. I was playing my music.
There is some accountant in plaid pants with a fat ass rolling over in his grave right now. Rolling over in his grave.
Guess what? Now there's noise on everybody's backs. So it's on you, Gary. You suck at golf. There's not the noise on your backswing, you son of a bitch.
Also, what other sport is like that? For like, it's just a casual game of, we don't want any noise. Like if you're going out with your buddies to play basketball, to play tennis.
Well, no, definitely not basketball.
To play tennis, to play anything.
Well, tennis isn't like that, but yet when they play like the high tournaments, right? It's always quiet.
Well, but that's true of any professional sport. Well, I guess not. Well, and like with bowling, there is a specific bowling alley for the PBA, the Professional Bowling Association, where they allow fans, and it is expected to be super rowdy and super loud.
I know. Like that.
And from what my understanding, the professional bowlers love to bowl there the most because it's such a fun environment.
You know what I think? And this is 100% bro science history.
Okay.
I believe that it's just because before Tiger Woods, golfers were assholes.
Yeah.
And prior to Tiger Woods, us athletes didn't golf.
That's true.
Golf for
Tiger
the
Woods
average civilian was for the blobby piece of shit, sedentary ass motherfucker. That's right. Because they work their asses into fatness, and they're the only ones that could afford to go golf. And the clothes
And
suck.
it's their sport.
But then along comes Tiger Woods, hits it 300, it tells you he's lifting weights, and you're like, oh, well, shit. Look at that. You could be and look normal. And then, as we all know, Tiger Woods was acting like a rock star.
Well, then you got John Daly, though, as the opposite.
Oh, John Daly. And then Tin Cup. Roy McAvoy.
He's not a real golfer.
McAvoy.
That's not a real golfer. So from a movie.
Are you talking about Roy McAvoy?
Are you talking about Kevin Costner?
I'm talking about Roy
You're
McAvoy.
talking about Kevin Costner, played by Kevin Costner.
No.
The fictional character of Roy McAvoy.
No. Listen, there's two truths in cinema. Okay. Val Kilmer is Jim Morrison, and Roy McAvoy is not Kevin Costner. This is his own man, and he lives alone playing golf on the driving range.
Honestly,
dealing with armadillos.
Point something up. I can't believe it took us 6 episodes to bring up Tin Cup.
That's kind of remarkable. At some point, we should do a Tin Cup companion.
Oh, that's a great idea. No one will listen to it, but we should still do it for fun for us. Just an excuse to watch that movie again.
I bet you a lot of people like that movie, bro.
Oh, so you know what? When I lived in Colorado, one of my fraternity brothers, who's older, he went to the army and then got done with his army and then came back to school, joined our fraternity. He was the old guy in the fraternity. It was a great time.
Happens.
He fucking loves that movie. Me and him bonded over that movie.
Listen, I'll say this.
I don't think you can show that person or show that movie to somebody and then not like
golf,
it.
If you golf or like golf and you don't like that movie, fuck you.
If you like Caddyshack more, fuck you.
Well,
fuck you.
If you like Chevy Chase in general.
Is that the... I don't know which one Chevy Chase is.
Caddyshack is the main guy. You know Chevy Chase, man?
Nah, dog.
Well, he was a comic and sketch guy from SNL.
So a boomer.
100%. 100%. 100%.
Okay.
100%.
That makes sense why I don't know who he is.
That's what I think. That is what I think. But anyhow, should we move on to... are we going to talk about fights? Let's talk about fights.
I got so Lil Beasts. I was a beast last night. I got drunk and watched like the first 2 fights and passed out on my couch. I did see the Derek Lewis knockout though. I
got my heart broken into 1 million because I represent. And fuck, man, Justin's fight was hard to watch for me. I was like
the knee he took in the 3rd round.
You know what it was is
the way he bounced against the
first round was so good. It was such an even round. But I think Tucker seemed to adjust excellently from round 2 to from round 1 to round 2. You know, he avoided the range at which Justin had landed his uppercut, which beautiful fucking uppercut. I mean, I think Justin would have had round 1 based on the knockdowns.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right? I mean, it was an even round.
Right.
And without the audience, they hit each other so fucking hard. And Justin took a couple of shots that were really hard, but they were in the forehead. So it was more hard than at risk of a knockout. Yeah. But obviously, after enough of those, I'm sure that, you get stunned. And then that round 2 hit, and Tucker just seemed to have downloaded all the information he needed, and he made the perfect adjustments, man. And all of a sudden, Justin's head seemed to be at a worse range for Tucker, and I don't think that Justin was able to find the way to close into the range where he lands his shots, and he seemed to be at the end of Tucker's punches so much. I still don't know why Justin doesn't kick. Justin's a very good kicker, and I know I believe he may have had some injuries in the past due to kicks, and maybe that's why he laid off of them. I don't know, but it was hard. It was hard because he's so tough. I know Justin will never quit, so it was hard to watch. It was hard to watch. It's I love fighting, and I love the everything about it. I love. But it's hard for me as I've gotten older to disassociate from the damage that these guys are taking. Right. And when I know someone, it's fucking just brutal. Right. Dude.
That's only the damage you're seeing, I feel like, on TV, right? That doesn't talk about the wear and tear. Well,
that's what my wife and I were talking about. Because, I mean, just to give you guys some context, Justin has coached my son, my 6-year-old, in strength and conditioning at Extreme Couture. Like, he's like a friend, And I know him since he was very young. He's going to be 31 this week, I think, maybe even today or in a couple of days.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. And I know him since he was I think he was like 22, because I've been at Couture for a long time. And so it's hard. I know he's had a lot of fights. He trains like a madman. And obviously, no matter whether anybody becomes world champion or not, I want everybody that I know that I care about to be okay later. And in this profession,
it's a lot harder.
So that was rough. I mean, I saw he posted something on social media saying he was okay and he'll be back and everything. I can't wait. I hope they don't give him another short notice fight. I hope they give him enough time to put in a proper camp, because also his debut was at 55, I believe.
And this was
a featherweight. This was 45. So he had to cut, and it was another short notice fight. So those are not ideal circumstances, And like I said, listen, I have nothing negative to say about Tucker because the motherfucker fucking performed, But it also goes to show that this guy's, the caliber is just so high now. I mean, these guys get there with so much experience and so many fights, and you're finding another guy just like you.
I would be curious to kind of get his perspective on the differences between the smaller cage and the bigger cage. Because since his first fight was in Abu Dhabi, that was in the bigger cage. Now that was in the Apex, it's a smaller cage.
That's true. I didn't think about that. Abu Dhabi, they had the big cage.
Yeah. And it's going to be really interesting for the September 15th card.
I'm excited about that. I love that.
Stipe,
that's a caveat that I love. about that fight.
Interesting. Why?
Because they're bigger. It's a phone booth. I love it. Oh, woo.
So do you think it favors DC or Stipe to be in the smaller cage?
I think DC.
Interesting. I know he's super stoked about it. Whenever he's talked about it, he's super stoked about being in the smaller cage.
Listen, all those takedown grabs, right? That are at that low position, that low wrestler's position.
It's a lot closer, and there's nowhere to run. Not as much room to run.
It's easier to run your opponent into the barrier.
Right. You just need to go
that's what you want.
Versus 2
That's what you want. You want that barrier right behind Stipe. Yeah. But if you give Stipe 4 steps to go back,
and then I'll step
that's a lot of room for Stipe, because in those 4 steps, he's going to pepper you with that fucking long ass jab. Or he's going to switch speeds on you and throw an overhand or some shit. Or one of his uppercuts that he throws great too. Yeah. So I think that does definitely favor Daniel, but it favors the fans. It favors all of us because the action is more forceful.
Do you know what I'm terrified of? Stipe getting the Rona and having to pull out. He's still firefighting, dude.
Stipe, I'm gonna
he's a hero. He's a hero. He's an American hero.
Listen to me. I hope this goes viral.
Okay.
Stipe don't get Rona. The Rona gets Stipe.
You're so dumb. You're so dumb. You're so dumb.
The Rona should be afraid of getting Stipe.
Dumb.
That's how tough Stipe is.
I mean, he's an American hero.
Fuck yeah, man.
I'm so
hero.
Excited about that. UFC world heavyweight champion, and he's the smallest guy, the lowest guy at the totem pole at the station.
Now, I will say this, and I mean, with all due respect, I blame Michael Bisping for this. I now question whether Stipe also has a glass eye. Because Mike was able to fool us for a while, right? Turns out this motherfucker fought one-eyed.
That's true.
When we used to hear the rumors about the one eye, everybody assumed it was hyperbole, right? From the Vitor Belfort injury. No. Turns out it really meant one fucking eye.
It just makes Bisping even cooler.
I know, man.
Are you kidding me, dude?
You know, to be honest with you, the British, I love them to death because I love Dan Hardy too.
Well, and who's
to this day, Dan Hardy, I fucks with Dan Hardy, man. He's great. And his new shirt, the pink one,
I haven't seen it.
I hate Dan Hardy, and the letters are like it looks like a punk shirt from the 70s.
So almost like a wrestling shirt.
Nah.
I'm gonna look this up.
You gotta look it up. It looks like a punk CBGB shirt from 1978. And that's what like
a lot of wrestling shirts try to emulate, though.
I mean, that'd be news to me because I've never seen anything cool out of wrestling. So,
the full Reptile
Instagram
brand, right?
Go to his Instagram.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Fucking, what am I doing here? Amateur hour, trying to Google shit.
I know, you got boomered.
So we are back on the Children of the Beast with our newest segment, the Kids of the Beast, with our Kids of the Beast representative. Please state your name for the people.
My name is James. Today, I will be the dinosaur correspondent.
Oh, I like the eye.
How badass is that? I told you, bro. I've never bought a pink shirt in my life. I'm thinking
and the A has the anarchist A? Ooh.
Is that not badass?
I mean, if you want to rep Antifa.
Well, they got to take all our symbols. I bet you that's what the nice swastika people before the Nazis thought probably. They're like, oh, you ruined our thing, man. We used to use that thing. Now, I'm not saying that bring back the swastika or anything.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
I'm glad you posted
at some point before those asshole people took over that symbol.
That was a symbol of peace.
That was whatever other symbol.
Yeah, you know? I believe it was a indigenous people symbol. Mm-hmm. For some indigenous
so they had to take something nice and fuck it up.
Yeah, because it's really like a symbol of peace. Some sort of symbol of peace, I believe.
Just take a shit on it.
Yeah.
Like, literally.
Yeah. But to be fair, the Antifa one with the anarchy one, that's kind of always my anarchy. So I feel like that's kind of theirs. I feel like that's just fair play on that one.
Okay. This is going to analogize this to you about me.
What was that word?
Analogize. I said turn something into an analogy.
Okay.
This is my professor voice.
Nah. Hold on, let me get my notes ready.
Because class is in session, bitch. That's right. So this is how I feel about the anarchy symbol. You know when I used to draw that in my notebooks?
When you were bored in class?
When I was in 5th grade. So whatever, Antifa. Okay, adult. Oh, you're grown up now.
Don't you know the A stands for adult?
Yeah, an asshole. God damn it.
It is this cool symbol. I like as someone that has an A in their name, an A with a circle around it. I like it. I think it's cool.
Like I said, the shirt's badass.
Yeah, no,
the shirt's
sure.
badass. Like I was like, dude, look at Dan Hardy killing the shirt game. It's a better shirt than anybody else in
There
MMA
is
right
this, right, so this shirt I'm wearing, another golf movie, Happy Gilmore. This shirt is from Happy Gilmore. Well, not the original shirt is, because the original shirt would say, guns don't kill people, I kill people. And that's
right,
from Happy Gilmore, the big dude that Adam Sandler chops it up. This obviously says cops kill people, which I think is funny. But this is created by this dude named Meth Syndicate on Instagram.
Okay.
He makes dope shirts that are weird amalgamations of kind of popular shirts.
What's it again? Give it another shout
Meth
out.
Syndicate.
Meth Syndicate.
Yes. So he did
methamphetamine.
yes, METH Syndicate.
Is he methy?
He's too fat, I feel like.
I've seen some fatty meth.
Okay, maybe. Whatever, I don't know. He made a Karen shirt that is corn font.
Nice.
He has a 6'6" shirt that's shrimp instead of sixes, but arranged in a way that they look like sixes.
Good for him.
It's great.
And that's his thing. Sure.
That's his thing. Oh, he's out of LA, and I actually found him out through one of the comedians I follow posted about how, oh, look at this cool shirt, and like a bunch of kind of famous people get his shit. Like I saw Pete Davidson wearing one of his shirts. People like go on SNL and wear their shirt.
That's
like
cool.
It's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that about podcasts and like Instagram and shit.
Finding small little things that are so unique and so cool. Like, right.
So, Dean Del Rey, the podcast I listen to. I don't know if you ever listened to it.
No, never.
But he has a good podcast, and it's mostly about like comedy and art. He's an art guy. So Dean Del Rey, he's got first of all, the name of his podcast is called Let There Be Talk, which I appreciate because I grew up being a hard AC/DC fan. You know, like I was rock hard.
They make you hard?
All the time, hard as a rock. AC/DC. Anyway, it's a song. It's a song. It's called Hard as a Rock.
No, I understand.
Okay.
I understand.
So Dean Del Rey.
Okay.
So he was a pretty decent singer for like 20 years in rock bands and shit in the Bay Area and LA and all that, trying to actually, like, he auditioned for Guns N' Roses. Or for Velvet Revolver. Like he's been in the fucking industry, and he booked bands and he knows people anyway. So he's got, and about 15 years ago, he decided to go into comedy right when he turned 40. He was like, I'm going to comedy, man. And so
that's cool.
Ever since then, he's recorded in a notebook every time he's done a set. And he did his first year, he did like 1,000 sets.
That's insane.
Yeah. And like he dove in. He was like, I got to go 5 days a week.
Well,
and
he seems to be the way to do it. You want to be comedian. You do it a lot.
So now he's a headliner. He's passed at the store several years ago and all that. He's like, he's out there in the grind.
Store.
And he's got this podcast. The podcast is a little bit about comedy, but he also is into motorcycles and rock and roll and culture and art.
So it's almost like one of the nerdy podcasts I listen to, but for you.
Yes. If it has to do with art and rock and roll related art, motorcycles, cars. And so he has this special episodes that he calls Handmade, right? Now, I don't always listen to him because he has like a 27-year-old guy who's a cobbler. And makes, I guess, the baddest boots on the land.
That's cool as fuck.
Like, so he had that guy. Like the baddest boots on the fucking line. Like Mark Maron wears them. If you see a cool pair of boots that look like they should be cheap on TV, but they're not.
Right.
They're probably that motherfucker's boots, right? Yeah, very cool. And so he knows his denim, and he's like, no, in Japan, you gotta go get the denim. And so it's every once in a while, like that's how I found out about this t-shirt company that sells true vintage rock and roll shirts. Right, that are from like you'll get a brand new shirt from 1976.
Okay, that's cool.
It's $700. Of
course.
But anyway, so he has all those handmaids. I mostly check out.
Every time though, you can just go to Hot Topic, bro.
No. But these are like the cotton, and they can tell you the press print that they came from, and because
so it's a piece of history that you're buying.
Yes,
It's something that you put on the wall,
but
and
very specific to like rock and roll vintage shit, right? So the other day, I normally tune out because they also do like watches. I don't give a fuck about watches. You know, like I wear this one's for running. That's why I have an iPhone watch. Like I don't give a shit about watches. But anyway, he had a sunglass guy the other day.
Ooh.
I collect sunglasses. I've been collecting sunglasses for years. I got a decent collection. A little bit of a problem. It's gotten better.
Not as bad as our problem as our other brother Ricky with his shoes. We'll get back to this.
Yeah. But anyway, so he had this guy on. Same thing as your shirt, right? He had this guy. His name is Jack Marie Mange, I believe, and I may be butchering it because I don't speak no fucking French. But this guy makes handmade sunglasses. Oh, dude, I got my next ones in scope.
How much do they go for?
They're in the $350 to $1,000 range.
Wow.
Yeah. Now, I only own a couple of pairs in that range. My range is usually 0 to like 400.
Gotcha.
And then it's always a game because I'll see them at a nice optic. And then I'll go like, okay. And then I start Amazoning and eBaying and seeing. I'm always chopping away at that price. Like
you have a spreadsheet where you track the historical price.
Oh, yeah. No, I pride myself in getting him at least at a I'm going to buy your shit that's expensive and nice. But I'm going to get it. Like, my answer to everything is, what do I want, Mr. Salesman? The best for the least. Show me the best. Now I got to figure out how to get it for the least. Whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. Now, some of the shit, I can't get the fucking least expensive Bentley, you know. But there's other shit that
no,
you're
I understand
like.
that. I feel like, yeah.
You know, but anyway, yeah. So it was the same thing to where like I got into this guy's website. Oh, some of his fucking sunglasses are tremendous, man. And they're handmade. And they're beautiful. And they measured perfectly for your face. So I got.
Do you send in measurements so that he makes them custom for you?
No, but I've been buying sunglasses for a long time, so now I know my the measurements of the frame and everything that I want and how they're gonna fit based on yeah. It's all like.
So you're a loon. Our other brother Ricky's also a loon. He's been trying to do you know how like Jordans you sign up and it's like a lottery and like you pay for it, but you don't necessarily get to buy it.
I have a peripheral knowledge of that. Yes.
My understanding of the process is just secondhand from Ricky.
I heard it's political, obviously.
It's political. You're so stupid. You're so stupid.
But it's true.
Maybe not, because like right, so you sign up.
I know a lot of people that say they never get shit.
So that's exactly what I was about to bring up. You sign up. You put down not a credit card information to be charged in case you're selected. Our brother Ricky told me he's been selected twice, and he wakes up. I get texts at least 2-3 times a week of him at 7 o'clock with a picture going for these shoes, and he don't get them ever. And he told me that he's gonna go crazy one day, like this upcoming Wednesday or something, because there's 3 different shoes he wants, and he wants to get them all. He wants to spend $1,200 in one day on 3 pairs of Jordans. Sir, I mean, good for you. You have your hobbies. It makes you happy. Whatever. Who am I to judge? I like fucking stupid shit too. Just.
You know, there's something. There's
you know what I want to do?
What do you want to do?
I want to step on his shoes all the time. Whenever I see him, I just want to step on them. I want to crease them. I think he would cry. He gets so mad. He would be so mad.
Dude, we're kids. He gets so mad if you stepped on his shoes.
Of course he would. I'm sure he would now.
Oh,
I'm sure he would now.
But I used to always be like, well, why don't you play on the hard court? You're out here on the asphalt, on the black tub. You get stepped on, Nick. You get stepped on.
Yeah, he's a loon.
That's funny. I mean, you gotta have a thing, though.
No, for sure. And like, I'm going, like, it could be way worse. It could be heroin. Drop me $1,200 a day on heroin.
Or baseball cards. I think you gotta have a thing. You gotta have a thing. Whatever it is that you can enjoy within reason. You know, like life is short.
Yeah,
and one of the things that the boomers, going back to the boomers, were right about is you do have to enjoy a little bit. Like, you don't have to be a complete fucking square and save every fucking penny. Just be goddamn responsible.
Yeah.
You know what you shouldn't be buying.
Totally.
You know, but it's your prerogative. Like, look, man, for me, I have a drawer in my house. And in this drawer, I put money away for a specific next thing. Right. And I'll tell my wife, I'm like, well, here's this bills, here's here's the extra money. And this
right here is my sunglass fund.
The last thing that happened was the sauna. Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is sauna money. It took me like 3.5 months to save the money for the sauna. I picked the only sauna that fit in the space that I have. It's back ordered till mid-September.
Of course,
waiting 3 months. I paid it. I paid it 3 months ahead, and this is what I do. And I'm just saying, like, about you would think, oh, sauna, you're rich. No, motherfucker. I saved 60% of the money for my sauna. Right? I put it in a drawer. Then I got it on PayPal. PayPal gives me 2 years no interest on my sauna. Right? So out of the amount of money, I knew the minimum payment that I had to make over the next 2 years, which is worst case scenario, right? So as soon as I bought the sauna, sent him the half that I had already.
Sure.
Right? So now I still have the 2 years to pay off the remaining balance. The next month I made some commission, already paid it off. But the whole point being is like, you would think, if you tell somebody you have a sauna at home and it sounds like a ridiculous thing, it's like, well, yeah, I mean, it could be. If you're an asshole and you go to some fucking spa store and spend $6,000 on your American Express that you didn't plan on fucking doing, but there's a specific way to do it. And I think within certain things, like ladies with purses, listen, if you're going to save $600 for the next 3 months each month and still pay your bills,
you deserve that purse.
Girl, get your fucking shit.
Yeah, no,
I don't understand it, but go get that. You know, that's what I say. More power to you. But
So Ricky has his purses, his shoes.
that's it.
Oh, you know what he should start doing? He should start buying his fiance purses to match his shoes.
That's pretty cool. I'm not mad at that.
Oh, you a baller? You buying your wife to be purses to match yo kicks?
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool. That's pretty
What's
cool.
up?
I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad
All
at
right,
that.
let's get this little beast in here.
We'll get him in.
So we are back on the Children of the Beast with our newest segment, the Kids of the Beast, with our Kids of the Beast representative. Please state your name for the people.
My name is James. Today, I will be the dinosaur correspondent. And I have a book of animals, which I shall show to you. And then I will tell you about some dinosaurs. Today, first up, one of the animals, which is one of my favorites, is the bobcat. It lives in the jungle, and it's one of the big cats in the family of the lion. An Akita dog. We have one at our house. His name is Salvador Dali. They are dogs that are fast, have big ears, and sleep a lot.
That's true. Do you know the significance or like what the meaning behind Salvador Dali is?
No.
So Salvador Dali is actually a painter, a real life painter that your dog Salvador is named after.
That's mommy and daddy's favorite painter. We went to a museum once, and that's when we got Dali. That's where we decided to name him Salvador Dali. Also, we think it's funny when animals have people names,
It is true.
especially a name such as long as Salvador Dali. Like when we go to the veterinary, and they go, Salvador Dali is here. I'm like, yes, he is. That's right. It's funny. All right. So next animal.
The caterpillar was small and it was a herbivore. It also made burrows.
Do you know what animal caterpillars turn into?
And a caterpillar climbs up a tree to make a cocoon. And after a long time in its cocoon, it turns into a beautiful flying butterfly.
Have you ever seen it happen in real life?
No, I have not.
Ooh.
That was the animal report.
And today, the next one is the dinosaur report. As yesterday, it will be some really cool dinosaurs. First, I will start with the Minosaura. Its name means good mom. It was a herbivore, and it traveled in herds.
How big was it?
It was about as big as this table.
Oh, so not very big at all.
Pretty cool.
And the next one for today, one of my favorites, the Troodon.
The Troodon.
It was a very smart dinosaur. It was bird-like. It had a beak like a bird.
I think you told us about the Troodon last time.
And not only that, it was an omnivore. It would eat anything. Fish or...
Hold on. What type of vor is he?
He's an omnivore.
Oh, omnivore. I heard herbivore, and I was like, wait, herbivores don't eat fish. But you said omnivore, so you're right. I misheard.
He ate fish, meat, and plants.
All right, so now let's move on to
Here, you can hold the mic now.
story. So, why don't you tell the people what happened yesterday?
Yesterday, while I was biking, I fell off my bike, and my dad was roller skating next to me and tried to save me, but instead, since he had rollerblades, it rolled over my finger, and there was a lot of blood.
Let me see. Let me see your finger.
That's the wrong one.
Just
It's the wrong hand.
Give me the that's wrong.
Oh, it's that one. Oh, it's getting better.
Here.
Oh, yeah.
And not only that, I got a bad bump on my elbow. Here it is.
That will happen.
And your knee.
And my knee had a bad bump too, see it?
Yep.
And this all happened because I fell onto the street when I was biking.
Yeah, a missed turn, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we had a...
Are you still going to keep biking after this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we just took a break today.
Yeah, I had to bike all the way back home. I had to get over a hill and I didn't even focus. I was crying the whole way. Yeah.
but you got back on, huh?
Mm-hmm.
You had to get
and
back
it's interesting,
home.
right? How bike riding can be something done where you're not really thinking about it, right? You were completely focused on being hurt, but you were able to bike home. That's pretty cool.
Uh-huh.
It's like riding a bicycle. You never forget.
I even made it up the driveway while I was crying.
That's pretty impressive.
But about 2 hours later, he was swimming.
Oh.
So
When I was swimming, I also took off my band-aids.
Well, that makes sense. They get wet. They don't stay on.
And that is the end of what I shall tell you. Goodbye.
You turned off the mic. That was so funny. Well done, buddy. Wait, do you want to do a little dance for the people before you leave? I mean, if you want.
This song is about teaching children to worship Satan.
That dance? Oh, okay. Oh. He's got some moves. Parkour.
it's a one-man riot. It's a peaceful demonstration. But it has a vibe that it could turn on peaceful at any moment.
Yes, definitely. Well done. Wow. The crowd goes wild.
That is tremendous. You could add like a Sex Pistols track to that.
Definitely. I'm going to. Thank you, buddy.
And that's how you make an exit.
It's a way to do something for sure.
That's how you make an exit. Now he's go in there all jacked up and start bossing his mom around, telling his brother what's what. You should see him after he works out. If he does every time he does strength and conditioning, like if he gets done bench pressing, he stands up and he's like, yeah. What the fuck is this?
I sent him a picture of my biceps flexing. Did you hear about this?
No.
Because they were out swimming or doing something, it was a push-up video that your wife posted of them both doing push-ups. And I sent him a picture. I sent your wife a picture of me flexing. And I was like, tell the boys I need a picture back because they look so strong from their push-ups. James' response? He was not impressed by my biceps.
All the time, dude. All the time. It's so funny.
And his picture's so serious. He has such a face, like a real little Henry Cejudo, if you will.
Oh yeah. You should. I'm telling you, dude. When he works out, every time he gets done with a set, especially if it uses weight, like if he does kettlebell swings, he's like he gets all jacked up. It's so funny to watch that shift naturally happen,
right?
In a human, and it's like his mom's here, and all of a sudden he's walking around like, yeah, I got it. All right, dude. It's crazy. It's like a Jersey Shore cast member. That's for hilarious. A second. Yeah. But yeah, man. And then I must say, I went to. You know who put me to sleep?
Your wife?
Chris Weidman.
Oh, really?
God.
I didn't watch. I saw that he won, but I heard it was a horrible fight. I mean, just not.
I don't care. No one won.
We all lost.
One won.
We all lost.
Entertainment lost. Entertainment lost. It was.
Chris
listen,
is such an interesting
I'm glad he won.
Career trajectory.
I think
he captured something. I mean,
he did
questionably.
But for what I understand, even when he beat Anderson Silva, he was already pretty messed up, like his knees and a couple of he was already pretty beat up from all the wrestling and all that.
Wear and tear.
Yeah, but and I mean, he looked great last night. He went 15 hard minutes, and his wrestling was on point, but it's just boring. I mean, I didn't even make it to the main event because he put me to bed.
Did you end up watching the main event?
I watched it this morning.
What did you think? Derek Lewis is Derek Lewis, baby.
That's the thing about it, dude. It's like I cannot help but love Derek Lewis.
How can you not? How can you not?
When the guy tells you, fuck martial arts, this is just a job to me. I don't even like the sport. I don't watch the sport. You know what, dude? I bet you there's UPS drivers that feel like that. And there's fucking car salesmen that feel like that. And there's waiters and bartenders, I
got something for you that we have to talk about. I'm sorry.
It's pretty crazy, so, but he happens to be good. And can we talk about that? Did you watch the replay, the setup?
The knee?
That was some veteran MMA shit, dude. Yeah. He saw the pattern and he was like, okay.
Well, he almost got choked down in the round before in the first round.
The way he set it up was so fucking clever. It was lead knee, fucking roll and right into the goddamn strike. It was beautiful, man. It was cool. It was cool to watch. I was happy for him. I like when unlucky people make money, and he's making that money, dude. And his division's perfect. No, I didn't.
Oh, so you missed it. So, right, Derek Lewis is the king of post-fight interviews. Undisputed.
He's good.
Undefeated.
He's
right?
good.
He is the one who took off his shorts post-fight and was like, my balls is hot.
His balls is hot.
Joe Rogan asked him, why did you take your shorts off, Derek Lewis? And he goes, my balls is hot. So in this post-fight interview, before Dan Hardy can even, I think it was Dan Hardy conducting the interview, before whoever's conducting the interview can even say anything, you hear Derek Lewis say, I gotta take a shit.
Well, I mean, that, you know.
The everyman, Derek Lewis.
I don't think I've ever.
He also he's tied for the most wins and knockouts in the heavyweight division.
No, I think he broke it yesterday.
Oh, okay.
I think he leads now. I think he was tied, and I think the tie was at 10, I think, and don't quote me on that.
I know he's at 11 now. I know he's at 11
now.
For a fact.
He's in the
I don't know if
lead.
that's a tie or if he's breaking it.
I think he's in the lead.
Either way, that's
awesome.
Impressive.
That's pretty cool.
From someone that his jiu-jitsu is just stand up. Just stand up. What even is jiu-jitsu? Just stand up.
But he defended and he survived.
Yeah.
You know, so now it was good. It was good, but that was about it for me. Excuse me, as far as that card, everything else was a decision. I was really dejected after Justin's fight just because I know him, so that really like fucking took it out of me, man. You know, it's hard to watch somebody you care.
Sure.
You care about get you know. But he's in the show, you know. He's got the job.
Right. He's 1-1 in the UFC.
Yeah, he's 1-1 in the UFC.
Well, a lot of people can say that.
Yeah, so I look forward to him having a full camp and being able to manage his weight leading up to the fight. I don't know anything about his camp this time or the weight cut. I just know it was short notice
it's
again.
Just quick, and he's cutting more weight.
Exactly. So it's a beast. You know, 145 pounds is a beast. He's a big dude, even though he carries it well. He's a dense motherfucker. So. Yeah, that was about it with the fights. No, excuse me. Did you watch Mike Chandler flatline Benson Henderson, bro? Oh my goodness. Mike Chandler destroyed Benson. Destroyed him, dude. It was freaking brutal. And I understand Matt Mitrione lost also. Interesting. But for some reason, and this was weird. So I went to the Zone and I went to a Paramount. Networks to try to watch it. They had replays of all the other fights, but not Mitrione's fight.
Interesting.
So I don't know why. So I saw the highlights online and everything, but I don't know. It's cool because Mike Chandler, that was his last fight on the Bellator contract, and so he wins. He murders Benson,
right?
And I don't think.
Do you think he's going to get signed by? Do you think he wants to go to the UFC?
The thing about it is this:
why would he?
There's no one else to fight. Every other question we have, right, as fans of MMA, and he's the last guy I can think of who's, in my opinion, UFC caliber, but is outside the UFC. He's like the new Ben Askren, kind of, you know. And I think he makes really good money with Bellator.
Sure.
I don't think the UFC is gonna pay him.
Yeah, I don't think so either. That's my point. Like, why would he? He's the big fish with Bellator.
Yeah, so I don't know what you do with him because at the same time, the way that he destroyed Benson, and I'm not sure about this, but I want to say Benson Henderson's like 1-4 in Bellator. I mean, like he's not. This has not been a good run for him, you know.
Interesting.
So I don't know what's gonna happen with that, but I like any time that a guy fights out his contract.
It's a good move.
It's such a confident move because a guy that's not confident wants some kind of guarantee before that last fight. But Verdum comes out 2 weeks ago and he fucking wins he spoils the UFC's Gustafsson hopes.
Yeah, he did.
And his last fight of his contract, and he says, fuck you, and I'm done. And, you know, the same thing's going to happen with Mike Chandler. It was his last fight. He murked Benson Henderson.
But the difference between Verdum is that Verdum can probably go make more money in other promotion just based off his name and his ability to draw his own sponsorships. But if he goes to the UFC, Mike Chandler can't do that.
Right. No, Mike has to go to make money. He has to do like Japan or ONE FC.
Yeah.
We're talking Ryzen or ONE FC, which is kind of, I mean, you could probably do both. You know, I mean, I think both of those organizations will let him do both, but it's still not as big.
Sure.
Domestically speaking,
totally,
as it will be here, you know.
But that doesn't. I mean, look at Mighty Mouse.
But hear me out.
Over hear me out. World making money.
How about you pay fucking Benson? Chandler.
Rory?
Ben Askren.
Oh, Ben Askren. Okay.
Pay him a little bit of money to welcome Chandler in.
Is he UFC?
Yeah.
Are they the same division? I mean, Ben Askren's retired. He's had hip surgery. He can't do a fight.
She said if they offered him a good fight, it'd be hard for him to turn it down.
Sure, but he's already had surgery. I don't think that's going to happen. I think Ben Askren is.
Did he have a hip?
retired? Yes.
Was it hip?
Yes,
Oh, yeah, that's a
reconstructing
heavy.
hip.
Yeah, that's a big one.
I saw a rumor about Bellator actually, right?
What's
Because
that?
obviously Bellator is going to be pushing to sign Paige Van Zandt. Of course.
This should be.
Of course, her man, Mr. Van Zandt is with Bellator.
I heard she's gonna go bare knuckle.
That was exactly the point I was making because I heard a rumor that right Bellator was willing to throw money at her and to bump up her man's contract as well. But apparently, bare knuckle wants to slide right in and steal Bellator's thunder. And the rumor I saw said it's willing to pay more. Now, this rumor is completely unfounded. It's a MMA.
It's a good
Twitter
move.
rumor.
See, it's a good move for bare knuckle though.
And there was a fighter that's already bare knuckle, a woman fighter who they fought in the UFC before. So I think that was a targeted match. I don't remember the lady's name, unfortunately.
Well, I like it. I mean, I think it's good. I think it's a good move. I'm a Paige fan. I don't think she has evolved in MMA.
So
I
maybe
think,
bare knuckles.
I think she's had a lot of other distractions.
Yeah.
And opportunities,
Yeah.
but I don't think she's evolved at the rate that she needed to evolve
For the
to be
UFC.
a top contender.
Sure. Which is why something like Bellator, maybe bare knuckle might be the perfect place for her.
Yeah. Yeah, I like bare knuckle at all, dude. I think that for a person that has a high fight IQ and is a multifaceted combat athlete, it's a good platform.
Sure.
It's a good platform because even a boxer is not just gonna come in and
Right.
and
They can't-
whoop your
they can't-
ass. The
they can't.
technique is so different
Yeah.
that I like everyone's chances,
Is there any other MMA talk we want to hit? Because I have something for you that I want to
No,
drop.
that was it, man.
I got a new show. You gotta watch by next week.
What is
you
it?
have to. It's called Indian Matchmaking on Netflix.
Indian matchmaking.
So it follows.
I have a hard question for that.
What's your question?
Is it narrated by a British person?
No.
Okay.
No, so it follows, it's almost like a documentary style type show where it follows this Indian matchmaker. Her name's Seema. They call her Seema Auntie because I guess that's the culture. It's part of it. And she was in Mumbai.
This is on Netflix?
This is on Netflix. I watched this entire show in a week. It is tremendous. And her job is basically a human Tinder. She has a database of clients. A client or someone will be interested in getting a match. They'll contact her. She gets their information, basically makes a little profile for them. They call
But
it
it's in
biodata.
India.
They come to America. She comes to America. Indian families here in America, or men, women who are been kind of disillusioned by the dating of in America, they are willing to at least give it a shot and go through this matchmaking. And it seems like it's very much of a, well, I've tried everything else. I might as well try this. This is my culture. This is my background. Bro.
But they're
Bro.
getting matched up with other Indian folks.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
I'm
It's
in.
very good. It's very good. The only thing I don't like about the show, that's my one criticism. Maybe I'll say it for you to watch it. Maybe I'll say my criticism of it. I don't want to.
I will watch it by next week.
Please. It's so good. Some of these people, they're never going to find a match.
I'm actually pretty thirsty for new shows anyway. I went back to watching a show from 1998.
I was 3.
I am binging on The Practice from 1998.
I don't even know what that is.
It's good for you because it's
I
a
feel
sad
like-
state
I
of
feel like-
affairs. I've run out of shit to
I
watch.
feel like Allen Iverson. We talking about practice?
We're talking about
We
practice.
talking about practice,
We're talking
dog?
about practice. Listen, I am out of every show.
Indian matchmaking. Have you
I've
watched Love?
I've watched every documentary.
Did you watch Love? I told you about Love like 2 times now.
What is it?
It's a Steve Buscemi show following Jillian Jacobs from
No, I
Community.
forgot.
Yeah.
What platform is that on?
Also Netflix. Both of these shows on Netflix.
Okay, so Love and Indian
I'll text you right
Matchmaking.
now. I already texted you Indian
Perfect.
matchmaking because I want to remember. But Love.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
Well, good, man. Yeah. Well, what else you got?
I've just been busy, dude. I've just been. My summer class ended this last week. So my final I took yesterday went well. I needed like 40 points out of the 200 to get B in the class, so I wasn't all that concerned about it. But it's still stressful because it's a 4-hour test.
Yep.
Preschool starts next week. I'm cautiously optimistic. Like if I'm being honest, like how can I not have a little bit of anxiety with like the world the way it is right now and us teaching in person and like right in theory, like right. Hopefully they're all little kids, so it shouldn't be too much danger in regards of them transmitting. But all my coworkers are much significantly older than me, so a little bit of anxiety dealing with that. But I'm excited to be back. It'll be good.
Good. Yeah, no, we are too. My son Michael has an appointment tomorrow for his blood work, So hopefully that his treatment's ongoing in the right direction. And that's it, man. Just working and being super cautious with the gym.
Right.
I'm going to the gym and I'm not working with people. I'm like being in
Doing your own
class,
thing?
but I'm doing the same drills and everything just in the bag by myself. I'm just not trusting anything right now because my son's doing great.
Right.
So I want to make sure that he keeps going in that direction. And with work, just trying to just keep everything going, man.
Yeah.
I
mean, as much as we can in these.
That's really all you can do.
There's no way you saw this, but did you see anything from the Board of Regents meeting this past week?
Oh no, I saw headlines, but
Did you see? So I guess you didn't see the clip of. So right, there is a regent, Lisa Levine, here in the state of Nevada. The Board of Regents controls all of education here in the state. They are discussing a Title IX change, which Title IX is. I should know this more, but Title IX is a specific statute within dealing with.
Discrimination.
Not discrimination, specifically sexism. And then what the language they were specifically changing was in relation to sexual assault allegations and what the responsibility of education, like schools and colleges are.
Yeah, but amongst students or
what
staff?
Both. Any sort of improper behavior, how these institutions are going to respond to it. And a very simple breakdown of it, right? So if prior to these new changes that are being instituted by Betsy DeVos, who's the Secretary of Education right now under Trump, prior to these changes, right, to prove that you were a survivor of sexual assault, sexual harassment, you had to prove, right, this is a very simple breakdown, and I'm sure I'm getting something here wrong, but you basically had to prove that either X, Y, or Z had happened. Now, under these new changes, you have to prove that X, Y, and Z all happened. So you're putting much more of the burden of the proof of the investigation aspect of it on the survivor. And throughout all this, the reason why I bring this up, right, because Regent Levine, she was very outspoken of how this is not right. This is going to put, right, we already know that women are assaulted on college campuses 1 out of 5. That's statistically a fact. This is only going to prevent more of those people from coming out and actually trying to pursue any sort of legal protection because you've made this so much more difficult. And why I'm bringing this up is, right, Regent Levine in the Board of Regents meeting was trying to make a point, and maybe she interrupted, but she was making a valid point. And not one of the fellow regents, but I think like the chief of the regents, one of the people that was facilitating this meeting and whatnot, interrupts her and goes, "I don't want a man speak, but if you're going to be speaking like a child, I will," and asked her to calm down and be quiet. His name is Dean Golding. That is this man's name. He is.
Wow.
Yeah. And of course, they voted the change because the reasoning for voting the change was, well, if we don't do it, our federal funding is going to be cut. And that's the most important thing. So whatever. And there is currently a question on the ballot to eliminate the Board of Regents. This is question 1. If you would like to eliminate the Board of Regents, because, right, it is a constitutional thing that controls higher education and whatnot. Not a whole lot of states have regents like this. Usually that's decided by the legislation and they figure that out. But for whatever reason, here in the state of Nevada, we have the Board of Regents. So in this next upcoming election, there's a question 1. If you vote yes on question 1, you are voting to eliminate the Board of Regents here in the state of Nevada, which, in my personal opinion, probably the right move.
That's interesting. Yeah, I had not been following that, but that's...
Yeah. Well, right, and because I'm in student government at my college, they're the ones deciding our budgets. They're the ones deciding how budget cuts are being applied. So, in that regard, I have to pay attention, unfortunately. Because trust me, I do not want to be watching a Board of Regents meeting for 2 hours. It is not how I would like to spend my 2 hours of any day.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, I because it's everything is such a double-edged sword.
Yeah, unquestionably. Unfortunately, there's no such thing as black and white in terms of issues or anything. There's just nuance and gray. That's the reality of the situation.
Yeah, because I mean, you have just as many victims that get no justice as you may have people who are posing as victims.
Sure, which definitely does happen. Fake accusations are a thing. I don't think they're that prevalent. I don't think they're as prevalent as maybe we are led to believe.
I mean, it's probably... I don't want to like flip back the fucking terminology, but it's probably underreported.
No, sure, yeah. I mean, right? How would you? Yeah.
There's no recourse. You have no recourse if you're accused of anything and it's not followed through upon, and it's just like.
I mean, the social media slander. Maybe not slander, but just the damage to your reputation.
That's what I'm saying. You know, so
now, granted, if you did do that, you probably deserve all of that, all the shit that's coming to you.
Fuck you, you know. But there's a lot of, like I said, in my personal life, in my experience, I would say that my observing ratio was at 50-50. To where 50% of it was 100% true, and 50% of it was somebody that was ashamed of choices they had made and was not integrity bound enough to face the consequences.
Sure.
So it was shitty. It's a shit.
It's just
it boils down to
but hold on,
have better judgment.
But think about
even about the people you're just fucking.
But even like just think about the statistic. Like 1 in 5 women in college campuses. That's horrific. It's 20% of all women. Right? Maybe that number varies a little bit, plus or 5 percentage points, but still, that's too many. That's too many. That's too many. That's too many.
I agree.
Be better. Humans, be better. I know we're just be better. Be a better human being.
And
be nice.
And the mindfuck of it too is that at the same time you're talking about the only animal that can make the distinction between sex and rape.
Yeah. Also that too.
You know? So it's just like, and some motherfuckers out there are animals. I'm sorry. There's some animals.
Clearly.
There's some fucking animals.
Clearly.
Some of these people like out there, you know, like that's just what it is.
I just don't know how you would target those groups of people to make them better.
Oh, god damn. Yeah, that's the
reform
only time
to make them better. How would you?
I don't know if you can
either.
I think they're broken. I think some people are just broken. If you can cross certain
but in
thresholds,
theory, we should be able to fix people.
No. I mean, that's not fixing. That's who that person is. Fixing him to do what? That's like saying you should be able to be fixed so you can dunk a basketball. Well, you're not broken. You just can't dunk a basketball. Some motherfuckers can't understand right and wrong, and I don't know. You know,
and that needs to be fixed.
Well, you know about Ronald Reagan, right? And Ronald Reagan's the one
he's a president.
No, but okay. So the reason that many people attribute the problem that we have with homeless people right now is that because in the 80s, when Ronald Reagan was president, they outlawed, or whatever terminology is applied to it, but they got rid of the state mental wards.
Yeah.
Ever since then, we've seen an incline in mental health issues that result in homelessness, and therefore an incline in homeless people. So obviously, at the time, that institution was flawed.
The mental wards?
Yes.
I was just about, that's why I hit the time. That was the point I was going to make.
You're like, well, what do we do?
Because that just sounds like
because next thing you know,
for prison.
Exactly. Next thing you know, rich guy who's an asshole
the JFK family
who starts fucking his secretary wants to have the wife committed into, you know what I mean?
Like Kennedys. John F. Kennedy's sister was given a lobotomy.
Oh, that's right. Oh my god. That's so creepy. The brain is creepy.
What do you mean?
Any kind of exposure to the brain is creepy to me. You know, like when you watch Hannibal cut the person.
I don't watch that.
Oh, you don't?
I don't watch that.
Good for you. You shouldn't. You shouldn't, because he'll stay with you.
You don't like brain tacos?
No. I don't fucks with the brain. Also, any kind of like skull crushing, car accident thing, and all that.
Please stop. I remember us trying to watch Saw 4 and me and you turning it off within 5 minutes. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah. I don't fuck with it. I don't need that in my life.
So bad.
Listen, reality is terrifying. You know.
Yes.
The Rona's doing a great job of it. You know?
The Rona is almost like a zombie plague in a way.
Yeah, a little bit.
And I know you love zombies.
Some people are just stupid.
Yeah, dude.
I mean,
like back to what we were mentioning earlier, the convention that was here in town that was just disguised as a convention to be a church service. Those people are dumb.
Yes.
Those people are dumb. I mean, it's great. I love that they did that. I even agree with them that if your space is big enough and we're doing 50% in casinos, you should be able to hold services.
Rules are rules, but stupid is stupid.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
You know, like listen, I know you're allowed to smoke cigarettes. You're still an idiot. And there's the same thing with all this congregation. Like, I get it. But by the way, if your faith was so strong, you wouldn't have to congregate. So you're saying that there's only strength in your congregating?
But the Bible said, hold on, but like, right, isn't it in the Bible to congregate and have churches?
Well, Jesus wasn't crucified in congregation. There's only 3 of them. The rest of the people was watching.
I don't know what the point you're making is, but he preached to people that were big groups.
I know, but what I'm saying is that when the reckoning time came, it was only him and 2 other guys on the crosses.
Who had nothing to do with him or Christianity. The 2 people who he was...
That you don't need to congregate. You could just be praising at home. Leading your own shepherding in your home.
But then how do you receive the sacrament? Oh, Eucharist.
Well, they're going to have to amend...
That's a very important part of
Catholicism. That's only part of Catholicism.
Well, that's the only religion I want to talk about. If we're going to talk about a Christian-based religion, let's talk about the OG Catholicism.
Well, I mean, maybe some people, they have their own snake at home too, and they like and they have the rattlesnake. You seen those Christians? Rattlesnake Christians?
I don't know.
Oh, they're great.
I do not.
So evidently the snake is a part of the religion. And there's a man that comes out and he wrangles the snake.
Are you talking about snake oil salesmen?
No. I'm talking about...
They all are snake oil salesmen.
Snake Christian men. And they have
I got to Google snake Christian.
Yeah. And they have a snake and they preaching. And they dare the snake to bite him.
Snake Christian church?
See what I tell you? It's tremendous, dude. And guess what? The snake does 9 out of 10 times.
It bites the motherfucker
right in the face. Right in the face. It's tremendous.
So again, these are just like a random sects of evangelicals. Fuck all that noise. Catholicism, whatever. Go be a Protestant somewhere else. Go protest with your buddies in Portland and Seattle.
But if you're gonna do it with a snake, I would like to watch. I would
like to watch a stream, online stream.
I'll be on the back row.
No,
though.
I will be on the online
stream. But
on the YouTube channel,
dude, whenever you get some time, Google like 5 videos of this.
And just laugh.
It's always the guy being so sure. It's like, and a lot of the times they don't even wait till the show starts.
Are they the ones speaking in tongues?
Yeah.
Of course. Of course.
Well, that and they can't speak English or any language for that matter. So half of that is just how they boomhauer their way through life. It's a deep one.
So you're a God-fearing Catholic. How do you feel about this whole traditional Latin Mass versus English Mass? Do you have an opinion? Do you care?
I do. I mean, do you know why that happened, right?
Vatican II?
Don't know if it's Vatican II or not, but it's the Reform, the British Reform.
So I think it's Vatican II.
Yeah.
I think it would be Vatican II.
Yeah, because prior to that, part of the fuckery that was allowed in the Catholic Church was because the priest was the only one that knew Latin. So you were getting the Bible interpreted, much what happens with Islam, where a lot of people are illiterate. And so that's how they're easy to radicalize, because somebody's interpreting the word of God to their convenience, right? And so the same thing was happening then. So I think I think masses in Latin are awesome. I think they sound fucking
something
awesome.
About the tradition of it's cool.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
I like it.
I haven't been to a mass for years.
There's some in Mexico that are done in Latin.
That's cool.
And then some that are done in Spanish. And then I've been to Vatican City and they did it in Latin.
Of course.
And so I think it's cool. I don't have a problem with it. I think that it was a problem at a time where people didn't have access to translation, but that's not the case anymore.
Yeah, totally.
So to me, it translates to if you want to put effort into anything you want to read in any language in the year 2020, you can get that accomplished. So you don't need that done on your behalf, and let alone when it's done on your behalf for your convenience, you complain about the quality of that translation. Well, do it your goddamn self. So that's how I feel about Mass in Latin. I mean, it's if you don't appreciate it, it's almost like if you're going to see the opera, you want it to be in Italian, I think, right?
That's actually a great comparison, because it is like a cultured thing. I think the traditional Latin Mass. It's like something of like...
Yeah, like if you go to the Kentucky Derby, do you want the announcer to sound like an Australian? No. You want a Southern man announcing that shit. Like, there's certain things that should be the way that's
a horse race, right?
Yeah.
I'm not.
No,
just
me
enough on my
neither.
horse
But it's in
races.
Kentucky,
Okay.
so you shouldn't have an Australian accent, no matter what. You can fill in the blank. Like a lot of the time,
Well, and like I think it makes sense, right? Also,
Listen.
not only that, right?
it's a problem I have with immigration. This motherfuckers complain about a lot of things, and by this motherfuckers, I mean all immigrants from a different country. Okay, integration means you adapt the culture of the place you move onto. You bring your own flavor in your own
Sure.
style, but you don't get to show up in Texas and start acting like you're from fucking New Hampshire. Like that doesn't work, let alone from one country to the next. It don't work from one state to the
But
next. You move there and
There
you
has
go.
to be something to be said for like, right, the rejection of, right, the dominant culture, the rejection of allowing you to assimilate, which has happened in this country, right?
I mean, I assume it must have happened in this
I mean, that's why
country.
we have so many small sects. Like, right, think about the racism that was involved with immigration throughout all of history in this country. The quotas, the Irish, the Italians, the Mexicans, the Chinese. None of those were brought in and accepted like, oh, yes, come into our neighborhood.
Right,
No, they got put into those slums, maybe not slums, but specific neighborhoods where it's for you. Go do your thing. And they did their thing.
Well, they got put / they seeked it because there was comfort in finding the same like-minded people.
Or they just weren't accepted anywhere else. I think that's a little bit more accurate. Not that it was comfort, it was just you weren't accepted.
Maybe. I mean, that definitely, I'm sure that happened in places. That's just never been my experience.
So I guess I'm right, and like I guess I'm talking more about the historical background of this, which
Right.
wouldn't be happening today, which isn't happening. Maybe
No,
it
but
is.
people say it is though. So that's where I'm like, I allow for both of those
Sure.
instances to be parallel
Yeah, totally.
in existence.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because that's just not my experience. Is that people are welcoming and people are curious about other cultures.
In some communities, right? I don't think down south, for example, where there's still towns and regions where if you're black, you're not welcome. That's a very real thing that's happening today in 2020. So I think you're right. In some places where we live, thankfully in Las Vegas, yes. I think in some places around the country, maybe that's not so true.
Yeah, I mean, but see, here's the thing: is that immigration from other countries is not the same as slavery. So I think that when I refer to it, I see an overall curiosity towards immigration. Now, the problem with slavery and black people, I think, is separate because that's a different history. And I don't think that we make a distinction enough about those two things. And when they get lumped together, such as
I would agree with that. Actually, I would agree with that.
You know what I'm saying? There's a
I think I
nuance
would agree with
difference
that.
there.
There's absolutely a difference.
For instance, Biden saying that short-sighted comment
Right,
about the black
diversity.
community. Well, there's a bunch of black
I have
in
no
the
idea where they're
Latino
from.
community.
Oh, I don't know.
If you're Dominican,
Right.
you're Latino and you're black. If you're Cuban, you're Latino and you're black. If you're Jamaican, there's a lot of black Latin American
Absolutely.
culture
Yeah, absolutely.
that encompasses a lot of people in Miami.
Yeah, totally.
So
Well,
that's
and like, right,
it's
there's also a
weird
bit of a
thing.
difference, right? Because there are families who are in this country, black families who are in this country, who are descendants of slaves and have no idea where they're originally from Africa. That's a very unique, in my head, that's a very unique thing in this country. I mean, I would assume around the world. I don't know enough about the world, but
Well, I mean, anywhere where black people were not native on, they were probably brought there in some form of a trade fashion.
I don't know.
But it all ties into slavery because the places where the fact is that people enslaved their own kind.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, and like
So if you were moving to a different land, instead of bringing your own slaves of your own kind from your own origin place, you enslaved the people there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And if there was no people there to enslave, maybe you had spare slaves that you had enslaved from another place.
slaves.
Well, I mean,
No, I know
that's
you
what I mean.
I know what you're
it's
saying,
not.
but, like, it's
It's
all-
not that they systematically only slave one type of people. Is that everybody was going to get enslaved by whoever was coming in that had the
it's just a
means
scale.
to
It's just
make
a
you a
scale.
slave.
It's just a scale of
Yes.
the amount of slavery, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Well, and like it's interesting, right? Kind of going back to the Indian matchmaking show, right? I assume you know about the caste system in India.
Yeah.
And it's very
they rock it really tight.
It's very much embedded within their culture entirely. And this show really opened my eyes to that because like I knew of it, I didn't know. Right. And one of the questions that Seema Auntie asked all these people were like, well, do you care about caste? Because there are still some Indians who care about caste. And I noticed they would say no, but
They do.
But and here's how they do it, right? This is how they do it. They request for someone with fairer skin. So
That
you're
makes
not like a
sense.
dark brown Indian, you're like a light brown Indian.
Mm-hmm.
That's caste. I mean, that's the caste system. That's the caste system. That's legitimately the caste system.
That's the same way they are in Mexico.
Sure. I mean, it's unfortunate, but colorism is very real around the world.
So in Mexico, I'm a güero.
I don't know what that means.
A güero means a blondie.
You're not very blonde. You're bald.
That doesn't matter. I'm not Mexican enough. I'm
Gotcha.
whitish.
Gotcha.
You
So our
got
brother
white in you.
is definitely
Oh, Ricky's a güerito.
our mom. I mean,
la güera. Ale was la güera. Desde siempre.
is that different?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's just a female. It's
Gotcha,
just
okay.
being blondie, literally.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It means that you're white, that you're not native enough. You must have a lot of Spaniard.
Which is, of course, looked probably
And
negatively.
which brings us to the United States. How are people in New Mexico?
Oh, well, this is a great
People
point.
will tell you they're Spaniard, right?
Right.
Like we're not native, we're
Yes.
not Indian,
Yes.
we're
Yeah.
not American,
Right.
but we're not Mexican either. We're Spanish.
Yeah.
It's
so
a
silly.
weird thing.
It's so silly.
It's a weird thing. And then I always notice that when I moved here, it's like everybody talks about this nationalism, and the first thing that everybody told me when I moved here is, "I'm Italian, I'm German, I'm
Right.
motherfuckers.
You're American.
You had never been to Italy or Germany
You're
or
American.
Poland, you know." I will say this: Ricky had a friend, Mikey, Irish Mikey. They were Irish, so much so they moved back to the motherland.
Back to the land of
They
potatoes.
moved back to the
Back
fucking
to the
motherland.
land of the
Yeah.
potatoes.
So, but yeah, man, yeah, that's. I don't know. That's what I think about
The world.
A lot of this stuff, and it's fresh in my mind because I've been watching this show on immigration. They have on Netflix too.
Okay.
It's I forget what it's called, but it's a show on ICE enforcement. So
Oh,
like
okay.
a reality show,
Yeah.
and there's one of the things that the guys go is like, look, man, like a lot of the guys are like, look, I'm going out there and I'm finding guys that are bad guys. I'm not trying to just knock on somebody's
Sure.
door and take him. But the media makes it to where like, oh, they're just rounding people up.
Well, I don't think it's also the media. I think it's actual stories and personal experiences that undocumented people actually have and share. I mean,
Right.
that is a real thing.
Right. But just because you feel bad about it, it doesn't break from the fact that the undocumented person knew that was what it could happen when they came
It's a roll
here
of dice.
and they chose
roll
to
of
do
dice.
that, you know? And then you have an offspring here, and then you have that offspring here after you knew that if you got caught here,
Right.
you'd be sent back, and then you still had a kid anyway. And then
To put down roots.
that,
to put down roots.
There's a little bit of chicanery at play there.
There is, but also like, I mean, if I was in that position, I'd probably try to do the same thing. If you're telling me my life is going to be significantly better just across an imaginary line in the sand in the dirt,
Yeah, but it's not imaginary, being that you have to save.
all borders are a little bit imaginary. There's no line that like.
I guess a little bit, but I don't know. I guess I have a microcosm of it because in Mexico, it all happens to where people from the country think that they can move to the city,
Sure.
and then they end up living on the street, and it's just a lack of information. And you know, like you could. There's plenty of things you could do wherever you're at
Maybe.
that you're not possibly doing, you know, and let alone. I guess in some of those countries, it must be super rough, but it just seems to me like how rough is it when they're telling you you're gonna get separated from your kids? if you
Apparently
get caught
rough
over
enough to
there.
do this though. But I mean, right? Clearly it's rough enough for them to do this.
Or they don't think about it. I mean, who knows? A lot of those people, like the literacy rate is not that high, and let alone the resources from their government as they're growing up.
Sure.
You know, so who
Sure.
knows really what level of information and education they're really operating under. I mean,
To the point where they know that they're going to maybe not have a better life for themselves, but for their children.
or they have that belief that's misguided.
Is it misguided?
It is, because if they get caught, it's a lot
If
of
they
money.
get caught, but the kid gets
But
still
also,
same
do you know
states?
how much money it costs for them to get smuggled here? Some of them.
I have no idea.
Oh, dude.
but I'm
Well,
sure
okay.
much.
So
I'm
the
sure
perspective.
much.
Let's say it's $5,000 from Guatemala,
Gotcha.
right? And they go, well, why?
sure it's
well,
like their
you
life
got,
savings.
they got to bring their family's
Sure.
life savings.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
like for one person,
Right.
let alone two, let alone, you know, and to do a trek like that with your children is fucking nuts.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the road is paved with predators and
stay. You did it. You gotta stay. You made it. You deserve to stay until you do something wrong. Then you get arrested and you have a felony. I'm sorry, dude.
Yeah, maybe.
That in my head, that seems to be a
costs a lot of money though once they do something wrong, and then you can't just send them back. And then what do you do with a kid? You know, we have enough problem with the people in our native soil that do something wrong.
But I mean, we're never gonna not have that problem though.
True. Yeah,
and like, right, the benefits of having that labor force is very significant. I mean, we live in Las Vegas. We can see evidence of that.
Oh yeah. No, I mean, I guess if you had like a way to channel it, it could be super prosperous.
That's what I'm saying. If the policy was, hey, you make it here, you're good. It's still illegal to do, but if you make it here, you're good.
Well, you know, I've always said that what they should do is like they should have like a branch of the government that's made up of immigrants that went through the same process.
Sure,
they're the ones that handle your case and process you.
That's a great idea.
So they can ease you into the integration into the country, right?
That's a great idea.
And I've always said that instead of making them wait in their own country for 10 years, no. Guess what? You can become legal. It's going to take 10 years though.
Yeah.
However, during those 10 years, the restrictions in our surveillance on you are going to ease up because it's like you're making it through the process, right? Yeah. So let's say the first year, we got to check up on you every quarter.
Sure.
I got to make sure you're employed. I got to make sure you're doing the right thing. Yeah. Credit, not getting into any trouble, you know, blah, 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 blah. And here's the caveat to that whole thing. You know how you earn your way into this country? During those 10 years, you can't vote. You can't own a gun. You can work, but you don't have all the rights. But you pay taxes. Non-refundable taxes. So we get 10 years of taxes out of you.
Isn't that how most green card programs work, though? You're not allowed to vote. I don't know.
No, but not really, because in order, for instance, to come here to work, a company
has to like sponsor you.
An American company, and for them to sponsor
has to prove
you,
that you're necessary.
That you have specific skills that make you specific enough where they can found a native or an American to do it. So it's a whole thing. But if they're just like, what if you're just a carpenter?
Right.
Not the best carpenter.
Right.
Not the fucking guy that can make an archway or anything.
But just a basic carpenter.
Just a frame.
Which are needed.
Exactly.
Unquestionably.
Trades, you know? And I'm sure, or a paver. A laborer for the fucking...
Or like, can you imagine if we have this, or like pie in the sky, right? Pie, like we're dreaming here, because this organization sounds great. I don't think it's ever going to happen.
No.
But it would be incredible if as a part of that organization, if you don't have one of these skills, you get to go through vocational school. There is some sort of vocational... No, that'd be great.
Now I can't fucks with you.
Why?
Because now you're coming here against the law, right?
Yeah, and you made it.
You got no plan and no skill set. You got to bring something to the table. You got to bring something. You can't show up at the barbecue and be like,
but time out, right? Historically, we've done programs. Do you know about the Bracero program?
No.
So the Bracero program was instituted right after World War II, the Depression. Or not after World War II, during World War II, at post-Great Depression, where right during the war, there were so many American men who were sent overseas to go fight. So in the Southwest, there was, I think, anywhere between 4 to 6 million Mexicans brought in on what's called the Bracero program to be laborers.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It was a path for citizenship.
I've heard of the term Bracero, but
that's where it comes from. When they opened up the first center in Mexico City, they had 40,000 people who were interested in this.
But see, that's too many, because now you're solving another country's problem.
Wait, what do you mean?
Why are there so many interested? Because shit sucks over there.
No.
Well, it's a slippery slope.
But right, so like I guess my point is, like, historically we've already instituted programs such as kind of what you're describing, where you come in as a worker, as a skill. Here, this is a job here. We need this. And right, different time. Obviously different time, different working conditions, where we needed so many bodies in agriculture, which I'm not sure if that's necessarily true. I'd have to ask someone else who's an expert in agriculture.
I'm pretty sure that 90% of the people picking the goddamn fruit out of the ground are still fucking brown. I mean, today, you know, I think. But well, let's wrap it, dude.
Yeah, this has been long.
Well, we'll do it again next week, man.
So
we got the fight next week. DC.
Is that already this Saturday?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, today's the 9th.
God damn. I thought it was in September.
Which brings us to Duth. Tomorrow's already the 10th.
It is already the 10th tomorrow.
Far out, man.
Far out. And with that, we will leave you. This has been the Children of the Beast podcast. You can follow the show. You can find the show on YouTube at Children of the Beast podcast. You can like this video. You can subscribe. You can leave a comment.
Do all those things.
You can find our show on Spotify, Google Play. At some point, it'll be on the Apple Podcast Store. I don't know when, but at some point it will. Once it is, follow us there. Drop us a review. Make sure it's 5 stars. If you're going to give us a 4-star, 3-star review, don't write it.
5-star, man.
Don't fucking write that review, dude. Lie. Make it a 5-star review. We don't care. You can follow me at Andrew_the Hut on all social media. You can follow Carlos at Wolfchild1980. And I think that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
Have a good week, y'all.
Have a great week. See y'all next time.